No. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is a very highly requested look. I have had a lot of requests to do a black smoky eye, and I also recently had a request from a subscriber to do a look using only Makeup Geek eyeshadows. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm doing this black dramatic smoky eye, and I'm going to show you how to make it look good no matter what your eye shape is. I'm going to show you two different techniques. So hopefully you guys like this look, and if you have any other requests, feel free to leave those in the comments. I love doing what you guys ask me to do. It's always a ton of fun, and it's always a learning experience for me as well. So if you want to see how to create this look, then just keep on watching. A couple things that you do need to know ahead of time for doing a black smoky eye like this. First of all, understand that there really are no rules in makeup. You can do your makeup however you want and no one can say shit about it. It's all about what makes you feel good and what makes you think that you look good. However, there are some general rules of thumb that I'm going to mention to you as this video goes along, just to help you get the best color payoff and just the best way, the most flattering way to make this look work, regardless of what your eye shape is. And I don't want to sugarcoat this. This is not a quick, easy, go-to daily look. This look does take some time, it takes patience, and it takes a lot of brushes. Now I'm only going to be using 3 eyeshadows for this look, so it's very simple as far as that's concerned. Actually, you know what, I'm using 4, but 2 of them I'm blending together to make one color. So 4 shadows I'm using, but I am using a lot of brushes, so you want to make sure you do have a lot of clean brushes for this look. Also, I'm only using one real hair brush for this look. All of the other brushes are synthetic. When you're working with black, you're just going to get the best color payoff when you're using a synthetic brush because it's not going to hang on to all that product. A lot of people find this look to be very intimidating to do because it is very dark, very dramatic, but hopefully I can make this as easy of a process for you as possible. If you have any other questions, go ahead and leave those in the comments down below. I'd be happy to answer them, and let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing I'm going to do to start this look out is prime just the upper half of my eye area. So I'm going to take this Paint Pot by MAC. It's just a skin tone. It's called Painterly. And I'm just going to use my finger and going to keep that pretty much from the crease up. And then I'm also going to put a little bit below the lower lashes. Okay, so next up, I'm taking this Makeup Geek palette I have, and I'm using the shade Peach Smoothie right here, and I'm going to combine that with Creme Brûlée right here. So this one's just kind of an orangey neutral, and this one's a neutral brown. They're both really light. There's no one darker than the other, but I'm just going to combine these 2 colors together on a large fluffy brush and start blending that in my crease and upper crease area. And you'll want to take that all the way from inner to outer corner, and we're keeping this in a very rounded shape. This isn't going to go out like that at all. It's just going to go kind of like a rainbow. And you always want to start in the crease area, because if you start on the lid, then once you start blending onto the crease, there's a good chance that you're going to take the black shadow from the lid and start blending it too high. And that's when you start looking like a sad panda, is when your black comes too high into the crease. So that's why we always want to start with a crease. And next up, I'm going to take this color right here, Cocoa Bear. It is a mid-tone brown with reds in it. And I'm going to take this on a Morphe 441 brush, and it comes to a point. And I'm just going to get a little bit of that Cocoa Bear right on the point of the brush. And I'm going to tilt my brush upward like this, and that's going to keep the color from going onto the lid. We're going to start in the outer corner and start blending inward. And the first place that you lay your brush down after putting eyeshadow on the brush, that's where you're going to have the most pigmentation. And so you never want to start in the middle of the eye or in the inner eye. You always want to start in the outer corner when you're laying down product. Unless, of course, you're just trying to make your inner eye smoky, and that's a completely different video. When you're doing a look like this, always start by laying your brush down in the outer eye first. And you're just going to do a tiny bit of product at a time. You'll want to just barely, like literally just go boop in the color and then start blending it on that way. And even if you're just doing tapping your brush in the product one time, always tap off the excess, because if you go on with too much color, then there's a good chance that you're not going to get it blended out properly and it's going to look muddy and uneven. So you just want to go in with minimal product and blend that out. Instead of just going back and forth like this, I'm going to start doing small circular motions as well. Okay, next up, what you're going to want to do is take a black gel eyeliner and or like a black cream eyeshadow base. This is Jet from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It is a cream color and you can use it as an eyeliner. I use it as an eyeliner all the time. It's a really nice formula and it's waterproof. So I prefer a really dark base like this when I'm doing a black smoky eye, because you're really just gonna ensure that the color is very even all across the eyelid versus you may notice, like if you've tried to do a black smoky eye in the past and it's looked patchy, it's probably because you didn't have a good dark base underneath. So it's always good to start with a good cream color like that. And so I'm going to take it on a very flat brush. This is a synthetic brush. Anytime you're applying cream products, you always want to use a synthetic brush. And I'm just going to start packing that on the lid. And the good thing about having a really flat brush like this one also, where is it? There we go. If you have a really flat brush like this as well, you can also use this cream color to tightline in your upper lashes. Like I mentioned earlier, the way that you start looking like a sad panda is if your black starts to come too high up. And this is just our base. This is not the only black that's going to be on our eye. So just want to make sure you keep this really low just to get it prepared for that black eyeshadow that we're putting on next. Depending on your eye shape, you'll want to consider that before you take this black cream base all the way into your inner eye area. If your eyes are really, really close set, then you'll want to avoid bringing that black all the way in, because that's just going to make your eyes look closer. And you want to take this up to the crease where we blended that darker reddish brown cocoa bear color. You want to take it up to that point, but you don't want to take it any further than that. And make sure that you do bring that color all the way out to the very outer corner and maybe even a little bit past, especially if you have narrow set eyes closer to the center of your nose. If you do the primary amount of your darker colors in the outer corner, then it's going to help give that illusion that your eyes are a little bit wider set, which is actually technically considered more aesthetically pleasing. Then what you want to do is take a stiffer synthetic blending brush. This is a Sigma E39. This is the Buff and Blend brush. And it's not completely flat on the top. It's a little bit rounded, but it does have somewhat of a sharper edge on the way around the brush. And so that's exactly what I want. What I'm going to do is pull my eyelid taut just a little bit, very gently, and just start to blend out the edges of that black gel eyeliner. Next, we're going in with this black color right here. It's called Corrupt by Makeup Geek, and it is personally the blackest color and creamiest black that I've ever worked with as far as a powder shadow. Makeup Geek doesn't use talc in their eyeshadows. There's no fillers, and so that's what makes them so creamy. And so I'm taking this on a really flat brush. Again, it's a different flat brush. You don't want to use the same one that you used to apply that cream color, because it's just, the shadow would just stick to that cream color on the brush. So you want to get another flat brush. This is actually just a concealer brush. It's the M421 from Morphe. And you're just basically patting this shadow right over the top of that cream color that we applied. And a quick tip is, if you have oily eyelids or you have trouble with your eyeliner that you put on your top lid, if at the end of the day it's down here and it's all smudged under your eye, that's because you have oily eyelids. I would recommend setting your eyeliner with a black eyeshadow. If you apply black eyeliner, set it with a black eyeshadow, and it's the same thing as if you were to put on like liquid foundation. If you're oily, you don't just want to apply the liquid foundation and leave it as is. You always want to set it with a powder, and that's really going to prevent it from traveling. Same thing goes for cream products on the eyes. Okay, so now that I've set all of that cream product, I'm going to take that same brush with a tiny bit more shadow, and I'm just going to put it right on the edge all the way around. Just lightly pressing that into the edge of the shadow. Next thing I'm going to do is grab another brush. This is the number 116 by Sonia Kashuk. It's the small dome brush, and it's actually a fairly stiff brush. So now I'm just going to take the brush and slowly start blending right along the edges where I just pat that eyeshadow on. And you'll notice as I'm blending, it starts to get a bit more blown out into the crease. Also for this step, I forgot to mention I did not put any product on the brush. I merely went in with this clean brush and started blending it out. That is the key to getting a clean, good-looking smoky eye, is not putting too much product. You just want to basically take a little bit and build that up a little at a time. So once I have blended out those edges, and you can see it blends into that cocoa bear color, I'm going to go in with that same brush and add just a teeny tiny little bit of corrupt black shadow, and then I'm going to tap off the excess. And that's going to prevent that from too much product going on all at once, which basically is impossible to blend out when you are using black. And you'll notice it as you're blending, it just naturally starts to build its way up just a little bit, and that's going to be where you get your smokiness from. So next we're going to go back in with the original brush we used, the Sonia Kashuk 109, and this is the one that we used to apply the transition shade, the Peach Smoothie mixed with the Creme Brûlée, and we're just going to go over the top of that smoky eye. Also, as you're blending out, no matter what brush you're using, you want to make sure you use a nice light hand. If you use a heavy hand, then you're just going to push the product around, but if you use a light hand, then you're going to blend it out, and it's not going to be like a crisp line. It's going to be nice and gradually blended out, which is what we are going for. Does that make sense? No? Another good thing about applying that cream base, the black cream base, is you're going to have very minimal fallout onto your lower eye area. Okay, so last step for the upper eye is I'm going to go back in with a little bit more Cocoa Bear, the reddish brown, and on the same brush that I used the Cocoa Bear with before, the Morphe M441, and I'm just going to blend out that very, very upper crease right there with that, because we don't, for this look, I mean, if you want to do all black, then you can do all black by all means, but it's really going to be beneficial if you use a lighter color to help blend out that crease. And it doesn't have to be brown. You can use pretty much whatever other color you want. Browns are really easy to use with blacks, and it makes it look more gradual and I guess more of like that Kim Kardashian look that a lot of people are going for. But you can always cater it to your eye color as well. Like me, I have green eyes, obviously, so anything with red tones is really going to complement my eyes. If you have blue eyes, you can use yellowy, orangey colors as your transition color versus like the reddish color like I'm using. If you use that orangey color, then that's really going to bring out the blue. And if you have brown eyes, I mean, honestly, you can use whatever color you want, but like a purple would look really nice in the crease right here instead of like this Cocoa Bear. But it's always most complimentary to your eyes when you just have that gradual fade versus just black and then nothing. Okay, so like I mentioned, I am going to show you two different ways to do this smoky eye for two different eye shapes. So the first way that I'm going to show you is for those that have small or close set eyes. Okay, what you're going to want to do is just take any creamy black eye pencil, and what I'm going to do is position that right in the very outer corner of my lower lash line and slowly start buffing that inward. And the key here is you don't want to take it past your pupil. When you're looking straight forward, you don't want that eyeliner to go any further than the pupil. So you're just going to bring that in just a little bit right there, buff it on with a very light hand, and then you're just going to take any pencil brush, just any small, firm, stiff blending brush, and smoke that out. Next up, keep in mind this is for those with small or narrow set eyes. You'll want to take any nude eyeliner and line your waterline. If you applied a black eyeliner, although it's very pretty and very dramatic, it can really close the eyes off, but if you apply that nude liner, it creates that illusion that that additional space right there of your waterline is an additional part of the white of your eye, so it makes it look whiter. So by keeping the eyeliner just here in the outer corner, you're really going to keep that inner corner clear, and it's not going to bring your eyes in visually towards your nose. As far as eyeliner on the top lid, you can use whatever kind you want, whether you want to use like a liquid or a gel. I would recommend using a gel with this type just because you already have a lot of product on your lid. A gel is just going to go on the smoothest. So I'm just going to apply a small wing. I forgot to mention that the gel eyeliner I'm using is the Inglot gel liner, number 77. It's just really, really black gel liner. Always make sure that you do a coat or two of mascara. And then of course you'll want to apply mascara to your lower lashes as well. I'm not going to do that quite yet because I want to show you the difference between these two smoky eyes that I'm going to do. Then once you have your mascara on, you'll want to go in with your false lashes. The lashes that I am using today are right here. Can you see those? Can you see them? I hope so. These are the Goddess lashes. Yeah, these are Cocoa lashes in the style Goddess, and they're very similar to the House of Lashes in Iconic. They're just half the price. They've been pretty much sold out of stock everywhere since IMATS, but if I find them anywhere, I will link them down below for you. And then another thing when you're applying your lashes, I would always recommend looking down into a mirror versus looking straight ahead. If you look downward, you're really going to make sure that you can get the false lashes right on top of that lash line. And you want them to be as close to your lash line as possible. And this is the finished look for narrow or small eyes. So all I did now is went in and added the black eyeliner on the lower waterline, and then I also added some more eyeliner toward the inner corner. And then what I did is took a pencil brush and I took some more of that Cocoa Bear color from the upper crease, and I used the pencil brush with the Cocoa Bear on it to blend out the eyeliner, and I brought it all the way into the inner corner, and that's really going to help that lower lash line look nice and smoky because when you have a look like this, you don't want that harsh lower lash line with a harsh black. You really want that to be blown out and smooth and blended. Now that I've added onto that lower lash line, you'll see that this is more appropriate for those that have bigger eyes. But, you know, like I mentioned, there are really no rules. You can do it however you want. If you think that, even if you have small eyes, if you think you look great putting the black on your lower waterline, then do whatever you want. It's not up to anybody else to say what your makeup, you know, is supposed to look like. So I'm just trying to help you guys find the things that are gonna really look the best all around for your specific eye type and your face shape and things of that nature. So don't let anybody tell you how you should and should not do your makeup because it's not up to them, it's up to you. So here is the finished eye look. So that completes this eye look, you guys. I hope you found this informative and helpful. And a couple other things to keep in mind, just general rules of thumb when you're doing a black smoky eye. Your look is not going to look complete unless you do other parts of your makeup. So you cannot just do this black smoky eye and neglect your eyebrows. You can't do a black smoky eye and neglect your lips and just leave them without anything on them. It's just not going to look finished. I mean, you can do it if you want, but I just want to, you know, like I mentioned, give you the recommendations, just going to make it look the best that it can. So you'll notice that I have sculpted eyebrows today. I have a sculpted contour. I have a lip color on that's flattering to the black smoky eye. If it's just eyes, then you know, the rest of your face is going to get lost and you want your entire face to look great. And also concealing your under eye area, because if you have dark circles and you're just adding more black around that, it's really not going to look done. It's not going to look done unless you use some under eye concealer. Make sure you get the concealer really close in here in your inner eye. Conceal any darkness that you may have in there, and that's really going to help the inner eyes pop. So if you haven't done so yet, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will have a link for that down below. If you do recreate this look, don't forget to tag me on Instagram. And thank you again so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a like if you like this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!